I'll record a scrum, a personal one, since nobody, and I'll publish it. Since nobody reads this stuff or watches this stuff anyway, what does it matter? And if the feds decide to watch it, well, I'm still not doing anything illegal. So if it's a little bit cringeworthy and they watch it, it's like, whatever, man. Obviously, I have to come to approach things from a position of strength. So what happened at the border is I was coming back to United States and from Brazil, and I passed passport control. So at the passport control booth, I gave the guy, CBP official, CBP employee, my passport. He looks at it, gives it back to me. So okay, that means I'm good to go. And then at the exit from the international arrivals section, where you recheck your luggage, there was a dude standing there, and he asks, like, where are you going? And I say, who are you, right? So he's like, he says he's customs, and he says, give me your passport. So I give him my passport, but what does customs have to do with anything? So I have nothing to declare. I tell him nothing to declare, and he's like, where are you going? So what kind of a question is that from customs? None of their business. So I tell him, it's like, why do you care? I ask him why would he want to know where I'm going if he is customs, right? So at that time I was subject to secondary search. They opened they thoroughly searched my belongings, and they opened every container. I had a bottle of pretty good cachaça, unopened bottle of cachaça, so they opened it. Can be used as a gift. That has happened before. All of this has happened before. Then they were asking me, I forget what, but their questions are completely stupid. Like, if you're a friend of mine, you can ask me where you're going, what you've been doing. But those guys wear uniform, so no, I don't want to talk to them. Everything I say is always used against me. And when I was younger, I'm old now, older, but when I was younger and I had no reason, like, I'm not doing anything. And they still had a problem with me. This time they were like, why do you have two cell phones? Why do you have two cell phones? And then they found the third cell phone. It's like, why? Well, they said that they can understand having two cell phones, but why do you have three cell phones? Man, what the hell is going on with this? How do you even, like, okay, I can explain to a friend of mine why I have two cell phones, but if he is demanding, here's my two cell phones right now, my two active cell phones. They are identical. I have converged on this design for now, and they are identical except for the color code. And the color code is not orange and whatever, blue, but bright and dark. So because I like bright color, I like shiny objects and brightly colored things, and there is a different case that's yellow, so I could have color coded them orange and yellow, except no way I would be able to keep them apart. So the color coding is bright and boring, not actual colors. It's a flip phone in the sense that you can put it in your pocket. It's small enough to fit in a pocket. Year 2024, they finally figured out how to make a cell phone that fits in a pocket, am I right? My phones are disposable, so doesn't have anything. Everything is continuously backed up, and the case is required for dropping the cell phone on its face. And I like the ring. It helps with your, for example, if you're super drunk, right? It makes me the ring makes it less likely that I'll drop this thing on its face. And yeah, my connectivity is these two phones. Long story. I will change my preferences later, but for now this works well. eSIMs, even though I have a physical backup SIM that has been useful, but it's a long story. I generally prefer eSIMs right now and require a phone that accepts eSIMs, and it wasn't really by choice. Google forced me into using SIMs by Google having shitty support of physical SIMs. But also every SIM is a point of failure, and an eSIM isn't. Anyways, so at the border, they're like asking me idiotic questions like, why do you have two cell phones? Until they find the third one, and then it's like, oh, we can understand having two cell phones. What? And another question they asked was, how do you open your camera? We don't want to steal your camera if we can only steal the storage card. Well, asking me such a stupid question already assumes that you are stealing from me. So if they wanted me to answer, they would have like asked reasonable questions, maybe not questions like, or they said, since we don't know the purpose of your travel, we're gonna confiscate, we're gonna steal your laptop. That's what they said. They said, since we don't know why you're traveling, we're gonna steal your laptop, my work laptop. Okay, so we all know that government is a thief and a criminal and a terrorist. The government system is a terrorist organization, according to themselves. And they just wouldn't, like, I understand I'm misbehaving slightly, but they are cunts. It's like they can't lose their face in front of themselves, so they will take irrational actions just because they don't have a way of not taking irrational actions. They have to be forcibly right every time. They can't admit. They can't just be like, okay, whatever, this is stupid, let's just not do this. They don't ever not do something. They when customs, which has nothing to do with nothing, and I went through the same airport a month later after the government stole 14 pieces of electronic equipment from me. They give you a piece of paper when they rob you. A month later, I walked through the same exact airport because I took the same flight pretty much, and then coming back from Brazil, the asshole wasn't even there. The customs employee who I guess conducts random checks or whatever. I mean, they were there, but the cunt that was working the current shift just stood there doing nothing, which is what they should be doing, nothing. And I walked past them without answering any stupid questions. So you tell me, how is it that everybody knows that in American culture, you don't talk to police, you don't talk to feds, to the government. Everything you say to law enforcement will be used against you. That's part of American culture. You don't open your mouth at the police. You don't open your doors to them. You don't talk to them. You avoid them entirely. So I understand that crossing the border into the United States is like putting yourself in jail. The border is a jail. You have no rights. You're not a human when you're already in jail. Airport is a jail. Still though, tell me if according to this culture you don't talk to them and you don't answer questions that are optional, and then the customs people decide to ask you or not decide, it's completely random if they bother you or not. It's a random check, or do they have to bother you? No, so it's optional. Sometimes they bother you, sometimes they don't. And sometimes they bother you, and if you don't behave, if you don't do exactly what they say, and you don't know what they're gonna say, the piece of paper that said that they stole from me, the reasoning for it said suspicion. I shit you not, the reason for stealing from me is suspicion. So so they're suspicious when I don't answer optional questions, which I don't, and the questions are optional, nobody's business. And that's what happened. Now, am I wrong in not answering their questions? You tell me. That's a topic for another chat. I try to keep this under 10 minutes. I don't watch them if they are over 10 minutes, I suppose. So this update is good enough for now. Asshole Facebook will not ban me for this one. I don't think I'll get a strike for this one, since I'm not talking about prohibited topics such as health and well-being this time. But yeah, anyways, so much for quick morning afternoon rant, and I hope everybody is having a fantastic rest of the day.